Welcome, everyone, to a new adventure in Where Evil Lives. We're back! A Dinosaur's Tale! I've probably said that like 40 times over the course of me streaming. That cannot be good.
That movie was kind of dark.
It gets so like it's so existential, like for a kids movie. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, hello everyone. We are back for a new adventure in our Where Evil Lives campaign. Lily is not joining us at the moment. Has busy life schedule stuff going on. So, but hopefully once that all dies down, she will be able to rejoin us later on in the adventure. Not this adventure probably, but in the adventure as a whole. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. In the meantime, the party will progress onwards. So, last time we played... Hey! Oh, okay, I'm petting a cat, Lily, but you can't see the cat. The cat is... You know what? Here. Come on, Dotus. Come on.
Say anything.
Come on.
31 years.
Come on. Come on. Okay. Here's the cat. Cat's getting pet.
Kitty.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go.
All the pets.
Okay. So the cat is being pet, but I'm gonna move back to the story. So, previously, the party went to hell.
Yeah, hell.
So,
I mean, I got a tattoo, so.
yeah, you did get a tattoo. The party was sent by the VAEA to a pocket dimension within the Hells, a place known as the 8th City Advocacy Services. And they were sent there because the VAEA had reason to believe that the head of the ECAS, a devil by the name of Lazavos, had information on the Codex Ignis. So the party went there, did a whole bunch of stuff. Some things may be just horrendous crimes against life.
Wow.
And other things were...
Truly an unbiased storyteller there.
And other things were perfectly friendly and helpful and completely benign.
God damn.
And and the party indeed succeeded on their mission, which was to capture the... Ow! 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 Fuck you, cat! Get off me!
To eat ass. That was our entire...
Get off me! Was to capture the devil Lazarus. Had a little bit of back and forth there. Almost had a scenario where they made a... what would have been perfectly favorable deal for them. But instead did not do that and ended up battling with Lazavos, his guards, his hidden trap room, and eventually subdued him and returned to the VAEA victorious. It has been several weeks since then. Several peaceful weeks in which the party has been allowed to relax, train, go about their business, etc., etc. In that time, something worthwhile or something worth mentioning has occurred. And this may have been of note to one of you or to many of you, but we'll leave it kind of like up to whoever wants to be or wants to have been involved, if they care about it or not. But a quick little pit stop. Outside of the realm of your epic quest, outside of all of the fighting and the negotiating, there are many different locations within the VAEA, within the teleporting magical castle that you all currently call home, or at least, sleeping quarters. There are shops, there are training areas, there's barracks, there's multiple administrative locations, and there is, of course, a tavern. Whether you frequent that tavern or not, entirely up to your character, but anyone who has been to the tavern will have recently seen a new addition to the staff. A red-skinned, relatively short, humanoid figure, a hobgoblin. That is no longer immensely massive, no longer a giant amongst his people.
As a normal Hobbo Gobbo.
As the
Oh,
results,
right.
as the results of your various side quests and efforts to cure Cars the Giant, in quotations, of the affliction, the demonic blood curse that had been afflicted upon him by the Bloodlord Burrow. So, just a little aside, a little thing that your party members will notice or may have noticed as you go about your daily business within the VAEA. Cars is now working in the tavern. So, anyways, moving on from that. Several weeks go by where you're allowed your own free time, allowed to do as you please, etc., etc. In that time, a few members of your party are called away on a special assignment. Lily, as well as Kira, are asked to assist in a different detail. And off they go with well wishes and promises of meeting back up later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye! And it is shortly after that that the rest of you are called back into Hawk's office for a meeting as new news, new information is brought to light, and your expertise is once again needed.
We are experts, so that's...
As
Good
you
crew.
all arrive,
Many of us are experts, yes.
Guy with Artorias, Linsey, pulling up, Dolly, clomping up. You notice that there is one that is normally amongst your group that has not arrived as you step across the threshold into Hawk's office. As your dark-skinned compatriot has not shown himself for a few days.
It's because he's dark.
Inside Hawk's office, sitting behind his repaired, replaced desk, is the man himself. Standing near him, as per normal, is Avayaneth, waiting to debrief you on your next assignment. And standing in the room off to one side is a figure you have not seen before. Zach, would you please introduce your new character?
Yes. As everyone enters, he'll just look at you. He's green.
He's green.
He's got a bare chest. He wears pants. No feet, no shoes. He does have feet.
He's a green bear?
He's got a bare chest.
He does have a bare chest, and he says, "Good day, mates.
Oh
My
no.
name's Hot."
It's the return of the
It
lizard
returns.
folk.
Right. It is the return.
Oh no. Not this again. Who all was in Zach's party
Nobody.
during that one?
Jay was. No. Was Jay?
I think Jay
No,
was
it
in
was-
hours for that.
It was TK and Woods, and me and Jordan and Brian.
Oh.
That's what it was.
So
That'll-
none of you got to experience the wondrous, like,
Right.
guess we're about to.
Oh god, this is gonna be a trip.
That's right. I want everyone to know that I'm the greenest one. None of you can be the greenest. I'm the greenest.
I start
Oh.
spray painting myself.
It's fake green. It doesn't count.
Neon
No, you need to
green,
commit.
like
You need to,
bright
like-
neon green.
You need to like anodize the metal.
For more mechanical sense, why don't you tell us what you are, Zach?
I'm a bush wizard.
Wild
Is that-
magic?
Wait, is that actually your class?
Like druid?
I will admit, I did not look at anything that Zach did for this new character. So,
I'm
if
a-
there's actually
I'm a
a
wizard.
subclass of bush wizard
I went
out
into
there,
the
Probably
bush.
gonna have regrets on that.
I'm probably gonna
I
have
went into
regrets
the
on
bush, and then I got magic. I'm a bush wizard.
that. A bush wizard of what species?
Lizards.
Lizard,
Lizards.
Lizard bush wizard.
lizard,
I'm a
lizard
lizard.
bush wizard.
He's a lizard wizard.
He's a
Lizard
lizard
wizard.
wizard.
It's actually one of my favorite board games. It's called Lizard Wizards.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a lot of fun.
I went into the bush and I saw things, and then I came out different. I got this. I point to my head. I got it from the bush. It lets me do
Got
things.
it.
I hear
Got your head
things.
from the bush.
No, it's a gem. It's a gem. You don't know what gems are?
I didn't know you were pointing at a gem.
That's pointing at a gem.
You just went, this is where I got this.
This is where I got this.
That's right. This.
This
Right here.
He's an aberrant mind sorcerer.
Ah.
I don't
I mean,
actually
I
know
don't
what
know.
that means. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
weird
actually know what that
head-
means. I'm sure I'll find out. Much to my
Weird
chagrin.
head sorcerer.
So, there's a bit of an awkward meet and greet as Hawk and Evayaneth welcome you all in and mediate introductions with this individual Ott.
Ah.
Ott.
How do you say?
Ott?
He spelled that for me.
Ott.
AAT. Ot.
Ott.
AAT.
AAT.
Ott.
That's right.
Is it OT 2025?
Just Ot.
Just Ott.
There was no 2024. My name's Ot.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Ott.
What like size is odd? Is he medium?
Medium.
Regular?
Bigger than you,
Someone
bigger than
said-
Guy, not as big as Dolly.
I think I'm
Someone said-
technically
Yeah.
medium.
Regular.
Bigger than Linsey, bigger than Guy, not as big as Dolly. Hawk will chime in after like minor introductions and say, "So we've got some new information, but in light of recent events, well, realistically, us sending Lily and Nimdare and Kira out to help some others, we felt that it would not be prudent to send you in as undermanned as you potentially are at this particular juncture. So we reached out to...
Why exactly
I
weren't we
competition.
allowed to go on that mission, Hawks? Are we just not good enough?
It wasn't that you weren't allowed to go on that mission. It's mostly just that Lily and Nimdare, surprising me on Nimdare's case, but they seem to have like a social life, and other people asked them to assist them, and so we were like, okay.
Hmm. Alright, I buy it.
That is suspect.
Yeah, that's my reasoning. Those two have social lives that none of the rest of you do. Fight me on it. Hawk says Ott is a trusted member. And when I say
Yeah,
trusted,
You
I
can trust
mean
me.
I mean, less trusted and more trusted, as in he knows what's going on.
Ah,
Hot is hot to trot.
I didn't say that.
G-O-G-D-O-G-O, you know it's...
I did not see that.
hot said odd is hot to.
Evaneth will clear her throat, trying to get things back on track, and speak with her kind of like imperious tone. If you're done, we have business to attend to. There has been, well, there have been a couple of different events that have occurred recently. Those, in conjunction with other information that we have received thanks to your efforts with Kiona and the Lady Emir, have solidified a long-held suspicion, or at least we hope. We've been hesitant to send you off on wild goose chases, so we're trying to make sure that when we send you somewhere, we're at least relatively certain that it's going to have some sort of result. This one has been on our list for a while, but we weren't especially certain about it, and in the past, its, let's say, side benefits have not been as clear as they are now. While you all are aware of what we are really trying to do here in the VAEA, you do know that we are still trying to make a difference where we can. And so, if we're going to send you somewhere that we're not 100% sure about, we try to only do that if we also think you're going to do some good by going there. Wrathrock,
Okay.
and she kind of like gestures to a little map that is on Hawk's desk. Wrathrock is a place that we have held suspicions about for a while now, but we didn't have a strong belief that it would pan out, and there wasn't a lot else going on in the area that we felt was potentially worth our time. Both of those things have changed recently. The first changing because of the information we've received from Kiona and the Lady Emir, helping to at least confirm our suspicions. And the second is because, well, shit's been going down around Wrathrock here recently. So even if this doesn't pan out on our hunt for the codices, you should still at least be able to do some good. She pulls out a sheaf of paper, and hands you this. And now I say hands you this. I'm about to show you. She puts this picture down. It's not this full picture. It's mostly just like a portrait, right? But she shows you this picture of a woman's face. And she says, "This
Not very green.
is Talur." Or
There's not a lot of green there.
was Talur. No, she's not green. Is that going to be a problem, Ott?
Can't trust her. Not green.
Well, for this mission, we're not asking you to trust her. Which probably wouldn't matter because she's dead. Or
Perfect.
very likely dead. Has been dead for
You-
a few decades now.
Does your lizard race stay as green as you are as you get older, or do you change shade of green?
I'm glad you
Or
asked
do you
it.
go into other colors?
Do we really need to be talking about this right now?
The more powerful you are, the greener you are.
I guess
how
that's
you
a
know
yes.
Who's the strongest?
I suppose
If
that's a
you're-
yes.
Only the most bright and vibrant of us are the greenest. That's how you know.
Ivaneth has crossed her arms and is just glaring at the two of you.
Be wary of the green ones, but there are none greener than I.
So we should be wary of you.
Only other green ones.
Oh,
I've
you're
sworn to
special
fight
green
evil.
one.
Always.
Wait, didn't you say we couldn't trust Talur because she wasn't green?
That's correct, yes.
So be wary of the green ones, but don't trust the not green ones?
Because the green ones are
I don't
powerful.
know who to
You have-
trust anymore.
It's complex. It's a complex society.
Can I continue now?
Please do.
By your leave.
she just looks very distastefully at both of you. She says, Talur is the daughter, or was the daughter, of Tianus, an archmage who is the last known wielder of the Codex Glacia.
Glacia.
So that in and of itself is, let's say, a lukewarm lead. If she were still alive. Unfortunately, she fell with Wrathrock several decades ago during the First Tenarian War when the fortress was consumed from below. So, let's say that lead went from lukewarm to cold. Information that we have received from the Lady Amir and Kiona, however, lead us to believe that Talur was in possession of a journal of her mother's. Specifically, a journal of her mother's adventures and her studies of the Codex Glacia. Tianus was an extremely well-respected archmage from Cesnapel prior to the Codex causing her to change in her personality. So, we are hoping that her journal, she was known for being rather meticulous in her studies. We're hoping that her journal will have some prudent information that will help bridge the gaps about what we know about the Codex Glacia. So the intention of this mission is to delve into the ruins of Wrathrock and hopefully find this journal. Aside from that, I mentioned that Wrathrock, during its siege, was consumed from below. I do not mean that lightly. I mean that the entire fortification was one day above ground, and then the next day it was not. So the ruins are very much subterranean, and up until recently had been all but inaccessible.
At this point, Linsey starts attuning to his goggles, night vision.
And you said we have no context of why it was suddenly underneath?
Oh, we have a little bit of context. Tenarian sappers, partially. But the Tenarians in their first war were... It is well known that they were working with aberrations. So...
Aberrations, you say. It's my specialty.
all the
Yeah.
more reason for us to include you in this endeavor. Art.
I knew there was a reason. Besides me, you needing some green in the stream.
By the way, that was just a complete fucking coincidence.
It's very funny. Right man for the right job. That's what I always say.
Right men for the right job. Coinky dink.
Oh, not
If I
right
was a
lizard
man-
though, huh? Not the right lizard though.
If only
She
I was
nods
a man.
and she'll say, a couple of months ago, there was a minor earthquake in that area, and it shifted some things around and made certain portions of the subterranean ruins accessible. Since then, a number of incidents have arisen. Namely, there has been a disturbing plague in the nearby village of Eros. She like looks contemplative about how she's gonna say the next thing, and Hawk interjects and just says, "Yeah, people are losing their minds and then turning into puddles of slime."
Ugh. I mean, losing your mind is one thing, but then also turning into a slime, that sucks.
Yeah, it's not great. So,
But I guess if you lost your mind, you don't care that you're a slime at that point.
well,
Good
yeah,
point.
you might not, but the people around you do.
Oh.
Due
So it's
to
like
the
isolated
nature,
where like one person turns into a slime in the middle of their family.
sometimes it's one person in the middle of the night in the middle of the family. Sometimes it's the entire family.
Oh.
Do we know what color slime they're turning into?
Oh, sorry. Not
Is it
actual
green?
like slimes or jellies or oozes. Legitimately a puddle of slime.
Asking the important questions now. Is it green?
I don't actually know. We didn't get like a color information. They didn't seem to think it was prudent. They seemed
If there's
more
anything I've met
focused.
from my new best friend Ott, it's that we need to know if it's green or not. So
It's
we should get
always
someone
green.
out and find that info.
The bush works in
know
mysterious
what?
ways.
You know what?
The color- the color matters.
We should get someone out to get that info. How about you get that info?
No better ones. Let's do it.
So that's a fair ask.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Fantastic. So we actually sat down a day ago, not too far, probably about 48 hours on horseback. Horses will, of course, be provided to you, directions given, but the intent here is to send you out to the ruins, and hopefully you can find what we're looking for, and at the same time, we have every reason to believe that what's happening in Eros is related to the ruins of Wrathrock. There's really not much else going on in this area. So that's definitely the best bet. There's a couple of other small things, as there always is. Small things. Nothing to worry about, really.
Sounds kind of sketchy.
There's probably, I mean, let's be honest. Madness and slime, you're probably dealing with some aberrations here. So, just kind of be aware of that. Ivaneth will at this point step forward and do her normal spiel, where she hands over a quest log to you.
Oh, the dossier is here.
The dossier is here. And I will do my normal spiel of going through the things. Feel free to ask questions, and Hawk and Ivaneth will try to give you answers. Main quest. The Codex Glacia. Wrathrock was once a prominent settlement on the Inundine. However, the destruction and subsequent abandonment of the castle in the aftermath of the First Tenorian War led to the settlement's slow decay. Now, decades later, the ruins have fallen in on themselves, buried into the caverns that once housed the castle's water supply. Wrathrock was the last known location of Talur, a mage of some renown and the daughter of the previous wielder of the Codex Glacia. Rumors posit that Talur had a journal containing secrets about her mother's work and endeavors. You're to search the ruins of Wrathrock for the journal. Your first side quest is the Plague of Slime. The people of Eros, a village near the ruins of Wrathrock, have recently been plagued by a disease that torments the mind and ultimately turns victims into puddles of slime. A local seer has detected a malevolent force emanating from the ruins of Wrathrock that the villagers believe to be the cause of this horror. Find the cause in the villagers' suffering. Side quest 2, The Restless Dead. When Castle Wrathrock was breached, its defenders retreated into the caverns beneath it. The Tenarians, rather than negotiate with or release these captives, collapsed the castle on top of them and left them for dead. Decades later, investigations into the ruins have uncovered countless vengeful spirits crying out for justice. Find these lost souls and release them, whatever it takes. And then side quest 3, Lost Legacy. Bronwyn Wrathrock placed heir to Castle Wrathrock through his father's father, wishes to reclaim and rebuild his family's legacy. However, a group known as the Havoc Host, ostensibly mercenaries but little more than bandits, has recently taken up residence in the ruins. Bronwyn would like the host removed so that he can begin the process of reclaiming the ruins. Any questions?
Seems straightforward.
What's the best way to exorcise ghosts?
A
Good
cleric?
question. What about for people who aren't that?
A hawk kind of chuckles and says, cold magical steel and, spells.
Oh. So we gotta kill the dead.
Kill the undead.
And what is dead may never die, so you gotta work through all
Make
that.
them undead.
Evayaneth will, make a noise of disgust and look over at Hawk and just be like, give him that look of is that your only answer to everything? And he'll just kind of roll his eyes, and Evayaneth will say, do some investigating. Obviously, if undead attack you, then deal with them how you need to, but hopefully there is a way to release the souls without the need to release the souls.
Right.
Okay.
At the end of the day, though, I believe the intent here is just clear the ruins of undead. So, however you go about doing that, I presume the individuals responsible for posting this will live with it.
If Havoc Host is a mercenary group, if you just gave us a big old bag of money, could we just be like, hey, take this money and go away?
You may have noticed that while they call themselves a mercenary group, they really are little more than bandits. If you walk in there with a whole bunch of money, they'll probably respond with a, great, now give us the rest of your stuff as well.
Not very good mercenaries.
My assumption for these individuals is that they will need a little more prodding to take the hint. If you can get them to leave without killing all of them, great. If you cannot, well, honestly, that would probably be just punishment for their crimes.
Got it. Okay.
Got it indeed.
And so the slime thing is like a contagious disease?
Unsure.
Do we need to be like,
Yeah, we're
is
trying
it,
to
do we
figure that
know
out.
if it's like airborne or?
It might be some demon doing to everyone, for all we know.
We sent an individual to investigate the village when we were originally considering Wrathrock as a potential target. That's around when things had started with this plague. Really, plague is probably not a very good descriptor of it. It's hard to tell whether it is contagious or not. There definitely did seem to be victims that did not have any contact with other victims, but we don't know if they had contact with some other thing that spread the ailment. At the same time, there were individuals where several people around them were afflicted and they were not. So we don't know if it's based on some sort of resistance. We don't know if it's actually contagious. We don't know if it's just certain people are getting cursed. We don't know if there's an object that they've touched. We just know that it involves madness and turning into a puddle of slime, which seems... Well, to be honest, it seems pretty indicative of a powerful aberration in the area. Certain pools of standing water in and around the ruins have also been observed having kind of thickened with a shell of slime over them.
The goop. The goop's the first stage always.
Getting gooped up.
Once the
Which
goop comes,
corroborates
the
the belief that whatever is causing this is likely holed up in the ruins.
Seems to me it's a cousin of bush magic, pond magic.
Pond magic?
It's got to be pond magic. No other way.
I have no
Seems pretty clear to me.
experience with pond magic or bush magic, so I leave that to your expertise, Ott.
You ought to get out more. I leave now.
Unfortunately, my duties require I remain here.
All right then.
Ivaneth, this undoubtedly centuries-old elf that is an immensely powerful magic practitioner, is just like, yes, okay, lizard man with a jewel. I need to get out more.
Yeah, doesn't know what pond magic is. I mean, whose fault is that? Honestly.
Doesn't know what pond magic is. Obviously an oversight in her repertoire.
Elves are concerned with the trees. They don't look at the bushes or the ponds.
Hawk will reiterate, this is expected to be subterranean. We have no idea. You know, we know the Havoc host is holed up in some portion of the ruins. They're human, so they probably have some sort of light source, but the rest of the place we have no idea, so be prepared. So bandits, undead, something causing slime, and find a long lost journal. Hopefully.
You're right.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Aye.
Alright. That's it. Good luck. Try to come back alive. And, you know, do some good out there.
Victory! Break.
Hawk just kind of like laughs and gestures and says, yeah, that.
As we go down the hall, I take Linsey next to me. I say, hey, Linsey.
Hey man, what's up?
You know what the best thing about horses is?
About horses?
About horses? Yeah, we're gonna have horses. You know what the best thing is?
What's the best thing about horses?
They're tasty and delicious.
Did you say
Okay.
what?
That's right. They're delicious. They have the haunches.
So what you're telling me is you're into fast food.
I prefer slow food, but I do like horse. Oh, I love horse.
Okay.
On here.
All right. Okay.
What is
Okay.
going on?
I so want to just jump into this next thing, but I gotta do this other thing instead. As you are all on your way out, making your preparations, collecting your gear, doing whatever final little bits that you need to do before you leave. Sif, of course, is there with you, prepared to back you up. You have lost Lily and Nimdare. Kira has ventured out with Lily. That is 3 that you have lost, only to be replaced by 1. And yet, as you all are grouped together, there is a jangle of bones that approaches you from behind.
A
And-
jangle of. Oh!
Waltzes
cheddars!
right up to you all. And looks at you expectantly.
Hey,
Is he
buddy.
joining?
You've been enjoying hanging out the VAEA these past
Gives you
weeks?
2 bony thumbs up. And you notice that one of the thumbs is missing the top portion, down to the knuckle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a bony gentleman if I've ever seen one.
He waves at you, Ott, having never met you before.
Oh yeah, he's new. You don't worry about him. You're not a horse, so don't worry.
I concentrate on the skeleton. And I form a telepathic bond with him. I attempt to.
You can do that?
I can. I'm a master of the mind in the bush. Mostly the mind, though. I see Mitch's mouth moving, but I hear nothing.
You find no mind within the skull.
There's no mind in the
Just
skull.
just the soft.
You telepathically connect to him. Did you say something to him?
I said, "Hello, boned one."
You get Discord isn't gonna pick this up.
I disconnect.
Was he just screaming? Is that what I heard?
It's just sudden like screaming
just-
at this random voice in his mind.
In his head.
Agony screaming.
The
Should I
the
warn you? That's
the
my fault.
skeletal face shows no reaction. It's just like the interior of the mind was screaming.
He's excitable. We should bring him.
Yeah, we fought with him before. He's good. He does this really weird thing where he tries to get inside the things he fights and become their new skeleton.
He
When
points.
we say good, what
Master?
exactly do we mean? Because didn't he just get smoked immediately last time?
He's fine. He probably leveled from that, right?
Well, what's our other choice? Grey Walter and the boys?
Out
Let's
on
bring
the
the
side.
shield.
We haven't really given them their day in the sun here to try out what they can do.
Yeah, let's bring the children.
A couple days ago, Guy tried to approach them to get them to turn into temporary dragons so he could cut them, and none of you have seen them since.
Oh
Dare we?
no!
Guy fucked us again.
Again? Mm.
Again.
Temporary dragons. All right, then.
Speaking of, I ask our new green member to don the dragon soul thing and let me slash him.
Can do it. Sorry. It's against my
Fine.
religion.
It's fine. I thought we were best friends, but I guess not. It's cool.
They won't let me be buried in Mimoma Swamp.
Is it against your religion to don the dragon thingy, or is it against your religion to get slashed?
Just in general.
Just in general?
It's just against his religion.
Just against anything in general.
It's specifically the combination of the two.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
It's a written tenet.
No letting
can't do
people
it?
try to turn you into dragons so that they can charge their super sword.
Right.
Hey, I'm not one of those bullshit kobolds. I'm happy who I am.
Do they have tornado sirens here?
Yes. No. I don't know.
I would
I think
assume that in Texas they do.
Nothing is live right now.
I don't
so
think they do,
we
actually.
could be getting hit by a tornado. I don't know.
Look, if it's my time to get sucked out of the window, it's my time. I'm happy with that. You know that's my stance on tornadoes. Look, if,
Yeah.
if I'm going to get sucked out of a window, I'm going to get sucked out of the window. It is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it
Do
is.
you not have a basement?
No.
No,
Well, I don't think
I'm
you have
also
any other
on a
option
slab.
then,
I do not.
right?
That's very, very uncommon in Texas. Have
Yeah.
a
But we are on the second floor, so we would need to go down.
So
You're
is
supposed to go
Texas
down.
not in the quote tornado alley then?
Not Austin, actually. It's not
No.
really in that.
Most of
All right, then,
there's
I'm
like
ready
a
to go.
portion
I'm gonna
of
go get
Texas that
snack.
is.
Does it end in Oklahoma pretty much?
No, like
no,
the
Oklahoma, Kansas.
bottom of it
What is
pokes into
at the-
Texas.
Jeez.
It like curves into Texas,
Gotcha. Okay.
but it doesn't go down very far.
Tattoo.
Look at the tattoo!
Oh
Get
my
the
god, it's a moose with
moose!
a rose!
Ah,
It's a
that's
baby.
Rose moose.
great!
Moose rose.
I was
Yeah, I
convinced not to get
absolutely
a
could not
tattoo on my
tell.
foot because
Oh,
it hurts. And then
Yeah.
I got it on my collarbone, which is just as
I was gonna
bad.
say-
it also hurts.
Did they tell
It
you
was
that was
hard.
going to be better?
There was a language barrier problem. But
Yeah.
it was like supposed to be lower, but when I laid down, my friend saw that it was on my collarbone. She said nothing until I was finished.
Oh no.
It was my first one, so
That looks cool. It looks good. Very
hey,
nice.
we don't have tornado sirens, just by the way.
Nice. Wait. Oh wait. They're not going off, or they don't exist.
They don't exist.
Okay,
In
not
Austin,
existing is not a great thing.
I feel like it's still something you should have if there's the chance of tornadoes.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
But then again, Texas's infrastructure kind of just sucks balls across the board.
It's
so
not
I guess
been
I'm not
great
surprised.
here lately. Not been great here lately. Anyways, Chatters tries to worm his way into accompanying you all. Do you allow him?
Oh yeah,
Sure, yeah.
absolutely.
Great! Who wants to pilot
Do we have
Chatters?
any other options?
Not it. I already have 2 dogs.
You don't currently have any other options.
I'm playing a brand new character. I need less overhead.
I will take Chatters.
Oh! Alright. I will give
I don't
you
like this
access, Jay.
Watch the live stream.
Alright. Chatters should show up
Chatter.
under your companions
He's
tab.
lawful evil.
Where's David Payne?
It does sound awfully circular out there.
Bailey said that they're north.
Well, Bailey's a fanatic about that, so we would know.
North.
Truly, he is. I'm not kidding.
Fanatic about tornadoes?
Yeah, he's hyper aware of weather at all times.
Which is great because apparently that's not a thing down here. I miss David Payne.
I just
I
don't
mean,
care.
It can definitely be super useful, I would say, if you've just got that person that's like, You can just be like, hey, any weather news I
Yeah.
should be aware of?
I think I'll just tell him to keep me updated.
He just lets us know.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's even better. He's lawful evil? Look, don't read too much into it.
Look, it's lawful evil. He's not going to break the law.
Don't read too much into it.
The law and his law are two very different things.
It'd be what it be. So, is everyone ready to leave on your adventure?
Yeah!
Yeah! Everybody got
Yeah.
everything they need? They're all good? Alright. You're shown to your horses. None of the horses will allow chatters to ride them.
That's fine. I get on my broom and gesture to chatters to get on.
Doesn't your broom have a daily flight limit?
Does it?
I don't know, actually.
I was gonna say, will
Let's see.
Sif let him ride?
Broom of flying 5e.
I'm sorry for bothering you.
That's a good question. I don't actually know.
It's really difficult for me.
When broom
Yeah.
sleep positive, Mandarin born to ready.
Don't actually know.
Flying
Yeah.
speed considered 200-pound broom stops everyone
Oh,
to
I know
land.
which one I was
You
worried
send the
about.
broom traveling distance, blah blah blah. blah. Wow, I didn't know you could even do that.
Doesn't
You could
seem like it
send it to
does.
travel alone for up to a mile.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's
Name the
not.
location of familiar place. Broom comes back when you can send. Does it say anything about date limit?
Doesn't have a time limit. All right. Chatters is riding with Linsey on a broom. Very nice. Okay. You all are able to get your modes of travel arranged and head outwards to the northeast, towards the coast, the village of Eros, and the ruins of Wrathrock. The journey
Someone to lie, maybe Gordon will.
will take you 2 days.
Joel and Lynn said they'd be fine.
Is there anything you want to do
No, big
along
mouths.
these 2 days, or are you guys good to transition?
Transition.
I'm good with the transition.
Let's trans.
Fantastic. 2 days later, you all finally make it to the coast, and you are near both the village of Eros and the ruins of Wrathrock. Do you want to go to the village, or are you just heading straight to the ruins?
Do you want to?
Which
I mean,
one?
this could be an opportunity to go ahead and knock out the slime thing.
I'm cool with whatever.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
To the village.
To the village? All right.
To the village.
You can head towards the village. Once you're in the area, it's not difficult to find kind of like the direction. This place is relatively remote. There's no large population centers in this area. The location was all but abandoned many decades ago when Wrathrock fell. Prior to that, Wrathrock itself was a, let's say, small city, large town kind of like style scenario. But after the actual fortification fell, was subsumed into the earth, the place was pretty much abandoned immediately. This little village is far away from the overgrown, unrepaired roads that lead to Wrathrock. And you're basically going on dirt trails as you get anywhere near it. This little village has no, like, trade, other than maybe, like, occasional traveling merchants that stop by here or there on their ways to other bigger places. And as you approach, it's directly on the water. There isn't like a beach line in this area. It's mostly just like craggy rocks that drop into the Inundine Sea. and it's probably about 20 or so huts of varying size. It's a fishing village. It's very much very like earthy, very gritty, very poor, but not in the kind of like destitute kind of way, just in the these are very simple people, very simple lives, etc., etc. It's pretty clear as you approach that this village is where the majority of the consolidated like groups are. But you see other huts dotted in clusters here and there as you travel towards the village, and when you arrive at it, just kind of like in the periphery, right? So the village itself is probably only home to 40 or 50 people, maybe. But the area itself is probably closer to like 200 or 300, just all spread out over several miles.
So, if you don't mind, retroactive, during our 2-day travel, I would like to begin the process of teaching Shattered Morse code.
Okay. Like actual Morse code, or like a tapped out language that you two like discuss with each other, like two taps for yes, one tap for no type scenario.
Yeah.
Sure,
So
yeah. Easy peasy.
At least, I think at least we can get like rudimentary,
Like I think it's pretty likely that you two, because it's clear he fully understands everything that all of you are saying.
So like, it's just communication is one way. You're trying to get some of that communication back.
Exactly, right? So like, very easy for you to like, yeah, tap once for yes, tap twice for no, or touch this part of your face for yes, touch this part of your face for no, type scenario.
So we're working on creating DSL. That's the Dead Sign Language.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So that scenario is going on. When you're approaching the village, you do pass by people, or at least like see them in the distance. They are not unwelcoming or off-putting, but they are at the very least, suspicious of this strange group riding towards the village, accompanied by a skeletal man on the back of a broom and a hellhound.
That is concerning. That is.
Our entourage does look a little sus. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but you're not immediately getting people like running, screaming. This is a fantasy world, and while these people might not be living left and right with demons, they are at least aware that, okay, there are strange folk out there in the wider world. We don't have to immediately freak out. They're not riding in, guns blazing. But you're definitely getting, like, looks, and it's fairly obvious that word of you is spreading ahead of you. Do anything, or just ride into village?
No, I ride on.
Ride into the village. Okay, fantastic. You are met when you arrive in the village by a
being met.
harried-looking man, not old, kind of in his middling years, right? Kind of salt and peppering, longish hair, kind of bushy beard, flecked with silver, kind of wiry, not like a heavy-set man, not super tall, kind of just, looks like an individual who does hard work for his living, right? He's the only person on the tiny rut of a road that goes through the village, but it's very obvious to you that there are multiple people in the huts around you, kind of like peeking out, watching, and plenty of them have, let's say, weapons, but with quotation marks, because it's like weapons to defend themselves against common bandits, maybe, but not weapons to defend themselves against a 10th level adventuring party, you know? But there's no, like, immediate open hostilities. The guy on the road just kind of, like, hails you as you ride up, and asks in a kind of gruff but not, like, unwelcoming voice, just, "Hey there, can I do for you?"
Hail, haired one. I seek the
Hail,
seer.
Scaled one. What about, the seer?
Yes, I'm glad you recognized me. Yes, the
He
seer.
called you scaled one.
We've come to investigate pond magic.
I don't know what that is.
It's a complex subject.
Sorry. We heard people were turning into
Yeah.
puddles of
You
goo.
got a slime problem?
We're here to help.
He kind of, you see, like, this tension, like, immediately ease from his shoulders,
That's what I
and he looks real, just, like, suddenly run down, and he says,
I might have an extra piece of cheese.
yeah, there's a problem. You hear about that?
Amongst other things, but this is one of the things on our checklist.
All right. Yeah, we sent in, well, I say sent in. There were some folks came around about a week and a half back, and they were looking for information, whatever. Yeah, there's a problem. We asked if they could, like, send word or something, but we haven't heard anything since then. You with them?
Some people call us
Yep.
fixes. Some people don't.
Some people call us what?
Fixes.
Fixers?
Fixes. We fix
Well,
things.
If you have any idea how to fix this, we'd be happy for the assistance.
Well, I see in our notes that this might be related to something within the ruins, right? But just to figure out, like, maybe how this thing is, like, spreading, is there any, like, common denominator with all of the victims?
Common denominator?
Is something they all had in common?
Yeah, I know what a denominator is. I was just thinking. I mean, like we told your folks, nothing that we're aware of. I think maybe it has to do with the water, but not all of them drank the infected stuff, as far as we're aware. I mean, some of them might have, but we didn't get a chance to ask them before they went loopy.
Is there a home that we can investigate where this, like, happened to people?
Yeah. He points and back the way you came about
I ended up here.
100 yards or so, just like outside the village. There's a small hut there, on this kind of like stony outcropping that overlooks a little inlet from the sea. Says the 3 people used to live there. None of them live there anymore.
Where'd they go?
Cool. I'll check that out, and I'll go ahead and start heading that way, and let you guys finish talking.
Where are they now? I heard there were
Well,
slimes.
They were in the floorboards until we cleaned them up.
Mm-hmm. I see.
What color was the slime?
Yes, what color are they?
Kind of a greenish blue.
A greenish blue, you say? Mm-hmm.
A
Blue is
teal
a sign of
slime.
weakness.
How do you feel about teal? Hot?
Yeah, where's that land in the
Obviously,
acceptable
it's
colors
nothing higher
wheel?
than me and my green kin, but better than the pinkies.
Better than
Oh,
the
what?
pinkies.
That's what I said. You have any infected now?
Not currently. If you'd come last night,
And
already cleaned them up?
is it people tending to the infected have not turned as a result of being in contact with those infected?
some have, some haven't.
Yeah, right. And our reports mention a seer with identified things. Where they at?
Yeah, that's who we lost last night.
Convenient.
Well,
Awfully convenient.
shit.
That is unfortunate timing.
Cookie. Oh God,
Where's their residence? They keep any notes?
the big bite. He kind of Linsey and Chatters have gone off to the other shack, and this guy will kind of wave you forward and says, "Down this way, I'll show you it." And starts to lead the rest of the party to the former seer's abode. I gotta shove this in my mouth.
All right, the second I'm in the shack that he directed.
good.
I'm casting detect magic.
Did he already get some cheese?
Is it one more? You already got one. I'm gonna do it.
Or Frogger.
The trash man.
Okay, Jay. Have
What's
you
up?
ever? Okay, I know you haven't, but I know you've seen plenty of internet funny videos and or cartoons that have done it. You know the scenario where you take a blacklight into a hotel?
Yep. Oh no.
You cast detect magic, and this
Fish.
small shack, which is basically 2.5 rooms, the half is just a kind of divided wall, right? Whole place lights up like there's just a layer of goop splattered all over the place. And that goop
Cool.
is
All right.
absolutely a magical residue.
Goop.
Oh, and Dispel Magic would tell you that it is transmutation.
That makes a lot of sense.
Does Detect Magic. Does Detect Magic give you anything else?
Tell you the school? Yeah.
Well, I know it tells you the school. Does it tell you anything else?
I'll look it up.
While that's going on,
Yep.
the Salt and Pepper villager leads the rest of the party a couple of huts down into the heart of the village. And there's a little small, unassuming shack down a little footpath behind another shack that he leads you to. And it's a warm, comfy little home for a single individual. There's a small there's these little little stairs, 3 stairs leading up into a rickety doorway. A small little living area full of knickknacks, very cluttered, very kind of like tight. Then a little side chamber that looks to have like a small hearth and a little like seating area, and then a small sleeping area in the back. And the guy kind of like looks at you as he's kind of like showing it, and there's definitely like this kind of not suspicion but concern going through his head, visibly on his face, as he's just kind of like letting you into the seer's home. But it's pushed aside by this. Oh, what's the terminology here that I would say? This intense desire for one, this situation to be over, and two, to have someone else deal with it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's fair.
And he just kind of grunts and he says, "This was the seer's home." It didn't happen here. We started once we kind of started to understand what was going on, or at least what was likely to happen. We started taking those that started showing signs and taking them over to there's a hut for gatherings. Big long building on the north side of the village. So we set up a kind of triage care place there. Ain't been many here lately, or the last couple days. The seer was the last one that has shown any signs, and that was that. Nothing else. It's just easier cleaning the floor there.
All right, it makes sense to me. Just gonna take a look around in here. And I open the door and I walk in.
Okay.
While we're walking in and kind of taking a look around, I'm gonna kick out a detect magic to try and get an idea of what might be pinging in here, aside from slime residue.
So no slime residue in the seer's place, because the seer did not goop in this location.
Oh, they just went missing.
Well, no, they started taking all of the ones that showed the signs of the plague to the local kind of like gathering building, a little triage.
They haven't gooped yet.
Yeah.
Goop as a
No,
verb is
the
not
seer
cool.
seer is gooped. Seer gooped last night. But they just started, basically they, rather than leave people in their homes and not knowing who's gooping and who isn't gooping, anyone who
Grab
starts
them
to
pre-goop, but then she already gooped elsewhere.
Whenever
Got
they
it.
start to
Right.
go loopy, they take them to the gathering place now. But that has not
You know
always
what
been
they
the case.
say. You start going loopy, you're gonna get goopy.
Start going loopy, gonna get goopy. God damn it.
That's
So,
fair.
Guy, you do a detect magic, and you also get quite a bit of pinging, just not in the same way that Linsey got. Linsey got the blacklight hotel room. Guy, there's just a lot of knickknacks and random enchantments all over this fucking hut that are magical.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to collect each of them up with like tongs or something. I won't touch them,
Okay.
but I'm gonna collect them all up into like a like a little pile or whatever and separate them by type.
It is a pile of shit to like.
It's all divination.
It's a pile of shit to rival like going into a southern grandmother's home and just like sweeping an arm on one of their shelves. Like, it is so much random stuff that seems to be without rhyme or reason. A tchotchke here, a book there, a dish here, a fucking shawl there. Like, it is probably 2 or 3 dozen small items. And it's not even just all items. You find the door frame from the little living room and then into the little like hearth dining area. Just the door frame has some enchantment on it. And there's a couple of little things like that. Like, that floorboard has an enchantment on it. That door frame has an enchantment on it. That candle holder has an enchantment on it. As far as the types of schools, overwhelmingly, the structural enchantments are enchantment. And overwhelmingly, all of the little tchotchkes and things like that are divination based.
All right. Everything divination I put off to the side, and we can just ignore.
Okay. Gotcha. What are you
Don't care
doing
about those.
while Ott and Dolly, what are you doing while Guy is collecting fucking magical tchotchkes?
I'm gonna. Dolly, I forgot about this. Maybe you should commune with nature. You can learn what's going on here. I'm not good at the pawn stuffs, but the bush. Maybe.
Are we inside?
Why don't you ask nature what's going on?
Are we inside?
What? I don't know. Am I inside?
You said you went inside.
I have a craze in my
Okay,
eyes.
well,
I don't know.
I can't do it within structure. Like, I can't, the building. If I'm in the building, I can't do it. Like, I can't get the building sense, but I can get everything around.
It's a pretty small structure. Maybe go outside.
Okay, I'm gonna go outside and do the whole. What do I do?
You're gonna commune with nature?
I'm gonna commune with nature.
Dolly communes with nature now?
She does.
I do.
Awesome. What does that look like?
It's a spell. She kissed it.
It's a spell. I cast it.
Okay.
Takes 11 minutes.
11 minutes. And
Yeah.
what does it
Why
do?
don't you click it?
Click it.
It. Hold on. I had it clicked up. I was reading it earlier.
Clicked up.
It.
Click it.
I clicked it.
Click it better.
What am I doing with clicking it?
Click. No, click the thought bubble.
Thought bubble?
You click it. Yeah, you clicked it.
The
I
thought
didn't know
bubble.
that was a thing, y'all. I'm
You would
learning
nature
new
spirits
shit.
and gain knowledge of the surrounding area. In the outdoors, the spell gives you knowledge of the area within 3 miles of you. In caves and other natural underground settings, the radius is limited to 300 feet. The spell doesn't function where nature has been replaced by constructions, castles, and settlements. Choose 3 of the following facts. You learn those facts as they pertain to the spell's area. Okay, pick 3 facts for me.
Pick the fix.
While Dolly is choosing facts, Ott, what are you doing inside the seer's
I'm
home?
gonna poke around. All these fucking smart people, they like to write. I want
like
to
to write?
see where they wrote.
No, I didn't do determine.
Absolutely. In the seer's bedchambers, which is not a very large room, it's barely enough for the bed that is in there. There is a very small end table next to the bed, and in that end table you find a diary ?
Salacious. I take it.
Okay.
I
You
flipped
start-
the last entry.
Look at the last entry. Salacious is a word.
Yes, it is.
It is, Jeremy.
The diary is a very private, or the last entry is a very private, very detailed recounting of a dream.
Dreams tell truths.
of a sexual nature with a beast of burden.
Oh, okay, second to last entry.
It's not much better.
I throw it outside and I go look for more things.
Okay. Alright, roll me an investigation check while you're looking for more things. Because that was the obvious thing to find. Dolly, what
Yeah.
three facts are you looking for?
I'm looking for locations of portals and other planes of existence.
Ooh.
Some creatures. Location of one challenge. Oh, one?
Yeah,
If
only
it's
one.
something more than this, it could be just one big man.
Okay, well, I'll still do that.
Could be little ones, but it could be a big one. Not you.
So if I do the most prevalent kind of. Oh wait, I don't see a beast yet. So do I have to choose them all three now?
Yes.
Now-ish. While you're doing the spell, basically.
Well, how do I know about the beast if I'm not standing in front of it?
You just say, hey, what kind of beasts around here?
Yeah, you
And
just
then
say,
find out.
you're just like,
You're
what's
asking
the
nature, you
most
say, "Hey,
prevalent beast here?
what's around here?" And nature's like, yeah, it's probably the donkey that's here was fucking.
Probably not, because there's only one of those donkeys.
You don't know that.
So I say I do what the
You said you want to know portals. You want to know a location of one challenge rating 10 creature,
and then I want to know the
whatever the last
Whatever.
one was.
the
Beast.
beast is.
Sure,
All right.
you did it. You're communing with nature.
Okay.
You say, "Oh, nature.
Okay.
What are the things that I can see?"
Is that what it-
Nature. What
Oh,
are
wow.
the
What if there's
things
one
at...
around?
Dolly gets outside, starts communing with nature. That guy is still there. That kind of like salt and pepper haired guy is still there, and he's just kind of like arms crossed, leaning up against the side of the building as Dolly comes out. Dolly, what does your communing with nature ritual look like?
What does it look like?
I don't know.
Well, what
Okay.
I haven't thought this through.
Do you
You're
just
the
like
decider.
sit down and you know?
No,
Meditate?
no, I don't sit down.
Okay.
I
She's not sitting this month.
get in a ready position, and then I am on my horns, like a horn stand, not a handstand, a horn stand.
A horn
Yoga.
stand?
Yeah, not a handstand, a horn stand.
For 11 minutes? I love it. This is great.
Look, the blood
Fantastic.
rushing to the head.
Got to. I gotta think. It helps
guy,
me.
You go up on your horse, and the guy just kind of like gives you a look, like, and then you stay there for a few minutes, and now he's giving you like a look, like
I'm not gonna die. I promise.
after about 5 minutes, he's clearly concerned and just looks away, like down the little footpath. Just
Away.
now uncomfortable and doesn't know what to do while he hears rummaging around inside, and this moose lady is outside standing on her antlers. Upside down on her antlers.
It's the best way to commune with nature.
Nature returns to you. Information. It oozes up through the ground, through your antlers, and into your mind. The best conductors, antlers, nature's best conductors.
I believe it.
So, for your information, we're gonna work backwards. The most prevalent kind of beast within this area is there is a very common kind of fish that floods this entire coastline. There are shoals and shoals of them, and they are primarily what the villagers live off of, which is not especially useful to you, excepting that as that information comes to you, there's kind of like a noticeable wobble in the information, as if even as the information is being fed to you, the population of that fish is rapidly declining.
Oh, that's a natural emergency.
Second thing that you get, the location of one challenge rating 10 plus creature, unfortunately, does not respond with any information back to you. Because there does not seem to be a appropriate creature that is celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead to come back to you with that information.
Hmm.
Probably
Which
an aberrant.
is in and of itself information. Okay? That first thing you asked, though, the locations of portals to
portals.
other planes of existence. There isn't, it's not a clear, none of these are like clear answers, right? It's not like nature just like taps into Dolly's brain and is like, yo, Dolly, the answer to your question is this, right? Like you're getting filtered like feelings and smells and visions and things like that you are through this spell interpreting, right? Like you're communing, right? So you don't get something that is just like, yo, Dolly, deep within the ruins of Wrathrock, there's totally this portal to another dimension. You don't get that. But what you do get is this intense feeling from the direction of the ruins that you all saw when you came into the area, right? That there is something unnatural, something vile, something inimical to nature itself in that place.
Okay.
And that something is connected to something else, some other plane of existence.
Hey.
This sounds
Like,
bursting back into the group.
You know what?
It's
I'm on
transmutation magic.
Abel. I'm pretty
I
sure
was-
this is Abel bullshit.
I was gonna say, heading back to Linsey after the whole
I'll just-
detect, you just head back to the party. You head back to the party. You find them. You head down that main path. You see Dolly standing on her horns, off a little path to the side. Fly over there. Come on in hot with the it's transmutation magic. Dolly doesn't respond because the blood has rushed to her head and she is in the middle of communing with nature.
All she can hear is like blood rushing.
The salt and pepper guy standing there, eyes bulge as you just kind of like fly in out of nowhere suddenly. It's just like, I don't know what that means, but that doesn't sound good. You're not making it sound good.
Well, I mean, it is. It just narrows it down. It's not like some kind of weird, like natural disease. I guess that would be a really nasty one to have break out.
Would it be
But
easier?
This is the work of someone.
Okay.
Somebody's doing this on purpose.
So
You
if
said the seer said there was a. She detected it from the.
Yeah, there's some kind of malevolence from the old ruins. Something dark and nasty.
Well, I mean, we're heading out there anyways. I guess we just need to, like, if we find people out there, we need to kind of grill them over what they're doing.
Alright.
We'll find out who's doing it. And stop it.
Ott. Your investigation of the seer's chambers, the home for other written material, does provide a couple of other pieces,
Very interesting.
all of which are some sort of smut in nature.
Yes,
Not
sir, was a
all of
teachable.
which, I mean, there's some stuff here or there, but none of it seems useful for your current endeavor.
I'll be honest with you. I've not seen such a depraved mind in many a year. This is a waste of our time.
You have separated out the divination tchotchkes, and you have isolated the enchantment home structures.
Yep. So Linsey, you just came running in screaming about transmutation magic, right? And saying
did.
that that's what's doing it. So I'm gonna separate all the transmutation stuff out.
You look at the various things that you collected. There is only a single item that is not divination and is not enchantment based, and that one, I'm gonna say with Linsey here, Guy and Linsey both roll me Arcana, and Ott or Dolly, if you are trained in Arcana, you can roll Arcana as well.
Wait, yeah, Mickey Furskin.
Let me see. How do I get
It's
back?
going to be embarrassing. I apologize ahead of time.
You said for me to roll Arcana.
Yes.
Roll the natural
Nope.
18.
I am not arcanic.
Oof.
You all put your heads together. You're just kind of like going by what the others are saying because you don't have your own detect magic up or anything like that.
Right down.
So, Guy and Linsey, you're the ones who are able to actually see this thing. What it is hard to tell because it's so worn and weathered. It's old. It's really, really old. But it's like a little, maybe a little bigger than like thumb size clay statuette, right? But its form is not, even in its heyday, right? It wasn't very defined. It's almost kind of like looking at like ancient sculptures, not like medieval or anything like that. I mean like 3000 BC style ancient sculptures, like very, very small or even older than that, like very undetailed, unrefined, and even that has been worn down with kind of like constant holding. It has a flavor of transmutation. It doesn't seem to be directly transmutation, Guy. And it's really confusing to look at because you're not really sure what's going on with it until, Linsey, it occurs to you that what it is kind of the antithesis of transmutation. It's as if someone took the essence of what transmutation is supposed to be and then tried to invert it and instill it into this little statuette.
The opposite of transmuting.
Well, that's the thing, is just from a logical standpoint of like schools of magic, there aren't direct opposites. Right? So it's not like it's a different school of magic. It's like someone tried to understand transmutation inside out.
And in doing so made this little statue?
Well, instilled that flavor of the arcane into this little statue.
Oh, okay.
Right, like the statuette itself is just a host for whatever this like inverse transmutation is.
Let's see if I remember there.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of like
Just like click
push
on
off to the
it.
side without touching it. and then I'm gonna ask the guy. The guy's still here, right? Like,
Yeah,
Carl's here?
he's standing outside, just kind of waiting on you guys.
I'm gonna show it to him and ask him, "Has you seen this in anyone else's house?"
No, but I recognize it. The seer started carrying it around after all this happened, or started happening. A couple weeks back.
Do you know where she found it? Got it?
No? She's got a whole shit ton of little things like that. I mean, she's the seer. She, you know. She was carrying it around like it was some sort of totem or something.
Had she recently gone on a trip anywhere before she got it?
I don't know if she's left the village in the last 60 years.
Okay. Alright. I hold it up to Sif, and I let Sif get a good sniff. And see if maybe we can just lock in that smell, and as we're walking around town, see if anything triggers a Sif sniff.
Animal handling.
Is Sif an animal?
We play it by
There's not
ear
a
around
demon
here.
handling quest or skill.
Yeah. He sniffs it.
I'm gonna hold on.
Sure.
I'm gonna flash of genius that. So we're gonna add another 4.
Okay. 15.
And then we'll build for success for another 1d4.
Oh, shit.
How about 1?
16. He sniffs it, and then he licks it. And when he licks it, it's small enough you're having to hold it in your hand. It's small enough that he's less licking it and licking your entire hand. And it kind of burns.
It feels great. Thank you so much, Sif, for licking this thing.
Take 1 point of fire damage.
I don't wanna fuck.
Wow.
Perfect.
Already getting hurt. You
99.
ain't even fight nothing, and you
I
suck.
said at perfect 100 health, and now I'm at 99.
99.
Double-digit loser over here.
Grunts and just kind of like nods. He understands what you want of him. He'll do it.
Okay. I'd ask Artorias, but I don't think I have smelling sensors in him.
No smelling sensors in Artorias. Unfortunate. It is about this time that Dolly comes out of her communing with nature headstand and has the information that nature hath given her.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
Did everybody make it inside? Okay, no one's answering, so I'm gonna go inside and divulge this information.
Okay. So Dolly goes in, tells you about your communing with nature, or her communing with nature, and the things that she has discovered, namely that there is a very large population of fish in this area, and that population seems to be rapidly declining. That there is there's no 10 plus CR celestial elemental fae fiend or undead in a 3-mile radius, and that there is some aberrant inimical life force in the ruins of Wrathrock that is tied to somewhere else, somewhere not of this plane.
It's pretty indicative of them, though. The aberrants.
Anybody else want to do anything else?
I can't think of anything else to do right now.
Yeah, I feel like
Just go.
I feel like we might not have gained a whole lot of information that going to help us any better once we get in the dungeon, but
Whoa. We found out this seer was one sick fucker.
Well,
Was she?
You say that,
Yeah.
and the salt and pepper man says, "Wait, what?"
Oh yeah. Rarely I see a mind as fucked up as this one.
What do you mean?
Hey, you see that donkey over there? Naughty girl.
Oh,
What?
I walk off. I leave it at that. I walk off.
the journal.
All right. Does the party exit the village at that point?
Guess
Was there
so.
anything else on the dossier that we needed to? I don't think so. There's the bandits, the dead people. Yeah, no, that I think the rest is within the ruins.
Then party exits the village, heads back slightly the way they came, and then further down the coastline towards the ruins of Wrathrock. It's hard to describe this place. It's up on a low rise, right? Maybe it was a hill like thousands of years ago, but it'd be difficult to call it a hill now. It's maybe a 10-foot rise from the lowest point approaching it on the coast. So there's a little bit more of a sharper, rocky drop down into the ocean, but still not very much. It's not a place that screams natural fortification, right? There's not some big bay that it's watching the mouth of. There's not some, river that is especially adjacent to it in proximity. There's no, there's not even really good, natural defensive terrain immediately around it. Honestly, there's an overgrown forest that very clearly kind of was not there to the south of it, immediately south of it, where the road actually approaches it. And then there's lowlands to the east and west of it, and then just the sea to the north, right? So it doesn't scream natural fortification. And now it just looks like a jumbled mess of stone. Most of everything else, lumber, metal, anything like that, has been carried off over the decades since this place was collapsed in on itself. The actual settlement itself, not the fortification of Wrathrock, but the town, small city of Wrathrock, was on the east side. You're approaching it from the west, where Eros is. And if you take the time to go look over there, it too has basically been completely cannibalized, right? There's a few, stone foundations that are over in that area that show where some of the bigger, probably more important buildings of the town were. But all of the rest of it is either has been stolen, taken away, carted off to be used elsewhere, or has just been swept away by time. The storms in this area are not, they're relatively fierce, right? So anything left standing after a couple of years was not standing anymore, and then after more years of not being cared for was just kind of swept or blown away, right? So this area is just kind of overgrown grasslands, a little marshy, but not swampy, right? A little soft underfoot, but not you're walking in ankle or knee deep water all over the place. As you approach the ruins themselves, the descriptions that you have received previously become very apparent. any area of standing water is covered by a thick, kind of congealed patch of what looks kind of like a teal algae, but is kind of glossy as well.
Eel, you say?
Yes.
Unacceptable color.
Or, sorry, a greenish blue, but you used teal earlier, so I'm just running with teal.
Well, I'm just saying that's the same color as the goop.
Yes, it is
That
the
wasn't.
it's the same.
Okay.
Though you have not seen the goop, it does sound as if it is the
Right.
same color of the goop. There is wildlife here. It acts as all wildlife acts in that, you know, 4 adventurers of varying interesting races, plus a bone lad and a fire doggo and a metal doggo are kind of tromping through their territory. So the wildlife is all like, nah, fuck that, right? But you do occasionally see small, like, critters, a lot of amphibians that are already dead. Most of the ones that you see that have not been devoured by other creatures or gnawed upon, they all look very... How to say this? If they're an amphibian, they look more wet than they otherwise should be, and their eyes are coated in that same kind of teal goop. If they are
Extra moist goop boys.
extra moist goop boys, if they are mammal, they are very bloaty.
I wish to spend the next 10 minutes ritually casting Speak with Animals.
Okay. Party holds up for a moment, allowing Linsey to cast Speak with Animals. You do so.
We do.
You
I
track
want
some-
to.
track some animals
I want
down.
to approach. Like, let's just find a frog, right? A abnormally wet, tealish looking frog.
So you go frog gigging.
I go frog
and
gigging.
Normally, again, the critters would flee at any of your approach, but now that you guys have stopped moving around and stopped, like, you know, making apparent your presence, the wildlife in your periphery kind of settles down, and that allows Linsey, after he casts the spell, to kind of like venture out a little bit and go find something. And when he's able to communicate with them, the animals do not immediately flee. So it does not take long, Linsey, for you to stumble across a very normal looking, but also very, very fat, obviously very well fed bullfrog.
Good day, friend. It seems the flies are plentiful around here. How are you?
Okay.
I couldn't help but notice a lot of the others around here looking a little bluish green. Is that a new thing?
Well, it got Ched.
It got Ched?
Ched.
Sheds his butt.
It got Ched. How did Ched get got?
Up in that puddle.
I'll walk over to the puddle as indicated by the bullfrog.
The puddle has the same thick covering as the
that
other
shling.
standing water that you've seen, but there is noticeably a portion of it that seems thinner, as if recently something went into it and like broke through the goop, or came out of it and broke through the goop, and now the goop has kind of like slowly solidified back over, but it's still
Is
thinner
it
than the
deep?
surrounding bits. Say what?
Is it deep?
The pool?
Yeah, this
Unsure. You're unable to determine because it's covered by this thick goop.
All right.
Are you thinking about something? Are you
Yeah, I am.
okay? So you got a plan going on. Anybody doing anything while Linsey is off on his frog gigging journey?
No.
All right, back to
Don't
you,
really
Linsey.
know what to do with
What's the thought
frogs.
process?
I am going to ritually cast Find Familiar.
Okay.
I'm going to choose a frog.
Okay.
I am then going to transfer my sight to that frog
Okay.
and send him down the hole.
Okay. So Linsey's not especially far away. Like y'all can see him. He's off in the distance a little ways. And you see him setting about doing some more magic. Clearly trying to like suss something out. Lily or Linsey, you go through the motions. You summon this frog. What's your frog look like?
It is going to look like a poison dart frog. It's like blue and black.
Okay. Plops down into the loamy.
Always good to have an
Marshy
inconspicuous
soil.
frog when doing recon.
And at your orders, dives into the pool, aiming for that kind of like thinner section. Breaks right through the goop, and you see just, water and decayed plant matter. And yeah, this pool is decently deep. It's not very big. It's maybe the size of like a love seat or something like that, right? But it's probably about 4 or 5 feet deep, and there's a bunch of like small little like tunnels that go down in its muddy and kind of silty bottom. And it's hard to tell whether these are like tunnels leading elsewhere, or if it's just like other critters have like dug nests underwater in here or something like that. Notably, there's several dead things in here, and they all have that same look of the other amphibians that you've seen. There's a couple of smaller fish in here as well, and they also have that kind of like eyes coated over in that kind of like teal goop. And they are dead as well.
So is there also a dead Ched?
There are some smaller frogs in here, but there aren't any like bigger bullfrogs.
Okay.
So you're unsure of what Ched was, right? So it's hard to know for sure.
All right. I guess I'll get my familiar back out, regain my own sight, and trying to think if there's anything else I need to ask.
You hear this?
The frog.
You hear this kind of croaking that draws your attention back to the frog, and you see another frog's hind leg out of its mouth, just slightly. And he kind of like chokes it back down.
Don't forget to chew.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Roll a perception check for me.
That's suasion. Perception. Not great. Something may or may not have been able to be perceived.
It's disturbing to look at. It's always weird when frogs eating period is just kind of disturbing to watch. You weren't necessarily expecting to look back and see that frog have another frog's leg coming out of its mouth. So when you turn away, you do so in a hurry.
Okay.
And you head back to your party.
Right. Yeah, apparently this crap is happening to the wildlife out here too, I guess. I didn't check if it was like magical schleam though. That's over the surface of the water. I guess I could ritually cast detect magic again. Doing a lot of time spending.
And
10 minutes.
The
But
beauty
we gotta
of
gather information.
the beauty of D&D is 10 minutes goes by like that.
Detect magic.
Linsey detects magic. Yeah, every single one of these Goop films has that same transmutation kind of like flavor to it.
Okay, no, it's all here.
You also detect it on the dead critters that seem to have the eyes, the coverings. Yeah.
Okay. But it's weird that they didn't turn to Schleem as well. They didn't goop. They just died, right?
Maybe they just hadn't gooped yet.
So where does this town get its water? Is this where its water supply comes from?
You saw a well or two in the actual village.
So it's not impossible that it's just in the water.
It's probably in the water. It seems very obvious that it's in the water to me.
Yeah. How far is the ruins from the town?
Or something draining into the water.
It's about a mile and a half
Okay.
across this lowlands.
That's pretty close considering.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Well, we'll just jot all that down.
Yeah. I mean, if you're standing on the edge and there's no like this, there's a strip again of this kind of like lowlands area on this portion of the coast. If you're standing on the edge of the village past the huts, you can see the kind of like low rise of the ruins just off in the distance.
Cool.
All right. Well, let's see if we can't go in and find the cause of the goopy schleem.
All right. You guys kind of step into the proper area of where the fortification itself once stood. And the fortification itself, just by the area that it covers, or the foundations of where it covered, is pretty big, right? Like it's not like some little local palisade or anything like that. When this place stood, it was a castle. It was a keep, right? Like it's a pretty big place. But it clearly didn't have the population to support it, right? Like it wasn't the keep of a big city. So for some reason, this place was of enough strategic value for there to be a fortification here, even though it didn't have a large population base. The space that you step into is just a jumble of fucking rocks, honestly. Like, how to describe this? Have any of you ever seen like those little like hilltop plateaus of like ancient fortifications or something like that, where they're basically like barren, but it looks like someone tilled the earth, right? But the earth is just rocks. It's not like dirt. It basically just looks like someone came in on this low rise, this little area of land, and took a giant till to the stone. It's all broken up and jumbled and mounded here and a little depression there, etc., etc. And there's like tufts of grass and weeds and things like that buried or sticking out here or there. Little puddles of water all glossed over in the teal goop, etc., etc. And there's a decent lack of any sort of like wildlife on this section of ground, except for like insects. The insects don't seem to be bothered by whatever is going on here, so they're still just kind of creeping and crawling around. What you note though, that there doesn't seem to be any like obvious, here is the entrance to the ruins of Wrathrock. And you're reminded from your conversation with Hawk and Avaenath that this place was inaccessible after the collapse for a very long time, until not too recently a small earthquake kind of like shifted things around and various openings appeared. So people have been exploring it and getting inside using that. But none of those entries are just clearly marked with a sign or anything like that. So you're gonna have to go looking.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So, in that vein, and I think this will
Looking.
probably be the last thing that we do tonight. In that vein, I want everyone to roll me either perception or investigation.
Perception or invest? I think I'm probably gonna investigate.
I'm not good at either one of those.
Yeah, I invest.
Perception's better.
God.
Investigation. Oh God, so good.
All right. With these two 17s, you spend a little bit of time, probably about 30-45 minutes, canvassing the area, and you find two, again, very kind of like, these aren't just like steps down into a cellar door that leads into, a city below the ground. You find like holes in the ground, like kind of claustrophobic, almost kind of like cave spelunking style. Like, if you want to go down these things, you're gonna have to like squeeze down into them style holes in the ground that you think will lead you further in. You find one on the kind of like western section of the ruins, and then you find one on the southwest section of the ruins.
Okay.
Okay.
We find one in the
Sorry.
northwest and one in the southwest.
You find one
Could you
on the
repeat that
west.
reading?
You find one entry on the west and one entry on the southwest.
Which one smells more wet?
Which one smells more wet? That is a decent question. Roll me a perception check to smell the wetness. Southwest one smells more wet.
We should go west.
You heard the man.
Is that the call? That the play?
That's the play.
Yes.
That's the play. All right. one by one, the party is going to have to squeeze their way down into these small holes in the ground. Not of concern for Linsey. Linsey being the size of a child, able to get down there pretty easy. Not really a concern for Chatters, being just bones, able to get down there pretty easy. Guy and Artorias, there's a bit of scraping involved. The always pleasant metal on stone, but you know, it's not like it's not gonna, you know, give you a rash or anything like that. You'll be fine. No abrasions. You're metal. It's okay.
Yeah.
How big a boy is Ott?
Medium?
Medium? Yeah, but like, is he thick? Is he barrel chested, or is he like lithe? What we talking here?
He's pretty thick.
He pretty thick. So there's some maybe squeezing and grunting, some like squirming here or there from Ott. Dolly is fine right until her antlers have to go through the hole. And then it's a lot of like twisting and like turning this direction and pulling and then bumping into something and then like twisting again and pulling, and there's a bit of work like levering back and forth. And it is not until everyone else is in and down the hole that Sif walks up to the hole, grunts, flares a bit, the rock begins to melt around him and widen, and then he just walks down the hole.
Right. Cool.
Oh, I should have had him go first.
Thanks, Sif. Thanks.
Fucked up on that.
There is, and it's hard to say that a hellhound is laughing at you, but it definitely feels like the sound and look he's making is at your expense.
I feel laughed at.
And that, I think, is where we will end tonight's session as the party heads down into the darkness, into the ruins of Wrathrock, and their nostrils are filled with a strange, pungent scent that kind of tickles and burns the inside of your nose. And then an overwhelming stench of rotting fish. That's it for tonight's episode.
Rather not.
That's it for tonight's episode of Where Evil Lives. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.